Good afternoon, esteemed viewers and followers. This is Fine TV Gambia, your only viewpoint. With me here is Madam Raki Jallow, a tutor, a writer, but in a nutshell, let me say an educationist. Esteemed viewers and followers, just to remind you again, this is Fine TV Gambia, your only viewpoint. And of course, it is your program, Top Issues on Nation Building. Like I mentioned earlier here, on our guest today, we have Madam Raki Jallow. Like I mentioned, a tutor, a writer, but let me say in a nutshell, she's an educationist. Madam Raki Jallow, you are welcome to Fine TV Gambia.
Thank you so much, Ibrahima. I'm happy to be here.
It's a pleasure. Today's discussion will be centered purposely on who is Madam Raki Jallow, and of course, some of the things that she has done. In the area of writing. So, Madam Raki Jallow, could you tell us, esteemed viewers, who is Madam Raki Jallow?
Well, that's a very difficult question always. But I will try to say something, like it's difficult to talk about yourself. But I would say my name is Raki Jallow, and I was born in Njawara. Njawara is a village in Badibu, in the North Bank region. It's a small village though, but I think it's a renowned village because we call it in our area, we call that village Badibu London.
Okay.
Because it's a village that the Queen, when she visited the Gambia, came to.
Okay.
So that's why it's given that title, Badibu London. It's a well-known village. That's where I was born. But I know little about that village because I was not raised there. Presently, I live in Banjulundi. Yes, my education was done in different schools. I wouldn't say in one school. Even primary school, I think, was divided in... I did primary school in 3 different schools, primary school alone. It was due to the fact that my parents were teachers and they were being transferred, and anywhere they were being transferred, they had to carry me go. Like I was a luggage.
Okay.
Yes, so that is what made me go to 3 different primary schools, namely back in the lower basic. There my dad was there as a head teacher. He was there on postings. From there, we went to Jarapureng. I also did part of my primary schooling. Finally, to Farabalo Basic. Upper Basic, I didn't become Upper Basic. We called the school Alpha Khan School.
Okay.
After Alpha Khan School, I went to St. Joseph's Senior Secondary School.
Right.
That's where I finished my high school. After that, I went to the Gambia College, and I became a teacher, a qualified teacher in 2011. And I enrolled in the university to do my bachelor's degree in education, and I graduated with my BA in Education English Language in 2021.
Interesting, and of course, inspiring. That is wonderful, Madam Raki Jallow.
Yeah.
So, we've learned that you are a writer. Could you tell us, what are some of the inspirations, or who inspired you, to venture into writing?
Yeah, I got a lot of inspirations. In writers. But my number one motivator and my number one supporter and what propelled me to be a writer, I would say, number one, may his soul rest in perfect peace, my dad. My father was the one that introduced me to books. I'll never forget that. Because as a child growing up, surrounded by books, surrounded by both parents being teachers, my dad being a head teacher since I was born, I found him being a head teacher. So that you can imagine, he always read books.
Yeah.
I was always playing in his office at corners. Sometimes I would go into his cupboard to be searching for reading books and storybooks. Sometimes he will even stop me. He would say, they are not your level. You are not supposed to read this and all that. But I was that curious child. So I would give him that number one credit for introducing me to books. Because at that early age, when I was not even into proper schooling, I was interacting with books. That was my number one propeller or motivation to be a writer. Because then I started reading material that I was fascinated about.
Okay.
I was impressed. And I was like, one day I can be like these writers. Since that early age. Then as time went on, when I was in Upper Basic, I started interacting with Gambian writers. The likes of Michael Hamadiseka, the likes of Hasum, the likes of Nana Gray Johnson, the likes of Sally Singate, the likes of Mary Wada, the likes of Auntie Payson Sonko Godwin, the likes of Auntie Sukai Bojang, the wife of Dembo Fanta Bojang. So I got those interactions with those books at an early age. I said to myself, these people are Gambian like me. And they are writing. And some of their writings are going international. Like Salisingate's Christie's Crisis. When I read it, I was in grade 7. I have that book with me. I think I still have it in my book collection. That book is one of the biggest motivations. And Meriwether's The Sea Farmer. I read them, and they were international books. They were known, like even outside the Gambia. I said to myself, when Gambian writers and women, I forgot to make mention of Auntie Juka Fatu Jabang. She's also one of those people that encouraged, that motivated me, inspired me at an early age. So I said to myself, why not me?
Try first.
I am Gambian as well, so I think I would one day be a writer. So I started scribbling stories at an early age. I started writing, but some of them, I will say, they were childish stories, experiences. They were not fit to be books. So I got the inspiration from these people that I've named. So, but I got the zeal when I could finally write a whole book when I finished my grade 12. It's that small time that we finished the high school and the results are not yet out.
Okay.
So I capitalized. I said, I will write a book and it will be published within that short period of time. So I challenged myself in writing the book. I finished the manuscript. It was pen on paper though. It was not in any machine.
Okay.
It was a choir book that I had. So I wrote all the scripts in it. I wrote all the stories in it. But this big story, that is the one that I published, Salimata.
Okay.
It was the biggest one. So I said to myself, I think this, if I type it, no matter how narrow it is, it will be a book. So I showed it to my dad, and he encouraged me. He says, yes, this is a book, and this book is good. So I think you can go ahead with this. So that's when I realized that I could do it. I could do
Interesting. If you are motivated by people like Niagara Johnson, Hassan Cease, and others, I think being you today is not a surprise. Hence, you got your inspiration from those individuals.
Yeah.
We also learned that you've also launched or published a book in 2021, February 2021. That was titled Salimata.
Yeah.
Could you tell us a little bit about this book? Titled Salimata.
Yeah, Salimata is about a school-going girl. As I said, I just put it to you here that I wrote Salimata when I finished high school. So it was like the experiences of a school-going girl, like what she has to encounter, societal influence, all those challenges that girls are faced with as they go to school, as they have to juggle it with other things, household chores. You know, girls, you don't just have to go to school and come and sleep.
Exactly.
There are things that will be attached to it and all that. So it's like, some people will read the book and they will tell me, we see you in this book. It's like a biography.
Yes.
It's like about yourself. I tell them, well, I wouldn't dispute that. Well, I took the inspiration from my own personal life, but it's not about me. It's strictly fiction. It's a story that I imagined that girls go through because I interact with girls. I went to an only girls school. I know the girls' stories. Like when we sit in our corner at break time, we share our challenges, our experiences. So I took that as a book, and I wrote Salimata. Imagine, since that year, 2007, that I finished high school, it was lying with me as a manuscript. It was not typed. It was not published. So I took up the challenge of typing it and publishing it in 2020. My kid brother, he's in Germany. I will always be grateful to him for helping me type it. He was the one that took the trouble of typing that whole manuscript. Yes, he typed it and put it in a flash and handed it over to me. Then I said to myself, now this book is ready. I have to do something about it. Then I handed it over to Michael Hamadiseka, to do a review of it, to check whether it's standard to be published. So he told me this is quality work. And if Michael says it is quality work, it is quality work.
Exactly.
Michael, being the writer that he is, if he tells you your work is okay, it is okay. So I believe in him so much so that when he told me this was quality work, I said to myself, why not I publish this? So that's when I took it upon myself to publish Salimata in 2020. It was published in 2020, but launched in 2021, February. Yes. So basically, Salimata is about the story of a struggle of the school-going girl.
I think it's about time I read that book. Because I've seen what you were saying. Like, that's interesting stories in it.
Yes.
And of course, imagine from 2007 to 2020, almost to 12 years now. You kept that. That manuscript with you. Aiming to one day publish it. I think that was achieved. We have to send. Congratulations to you for that accomplishment.
Thank you.
So you've mentioned of Michael Hamadiseka, who reviewed that particular book.
Yeah.
So how does it take? How long was this process? For him to, go to this book, so that he would reply to you that the book is standard.
Michael is this smart and intelligent old man. He doesn't like the name old man. He's retiring, by the way. He's retiring on the 12th. So we are doing him a farewell on the 12th. But he's this smart old man that he can do the work within the blink of an eye. I gave him the manuscript thinking that it would take time. Weeks later, he called me, he told me, I've edited and reviewed it. Like, everything is done. But to do a further review, because, first timers, you're always not satisfied. To do a further review, I handed over the manuscript to my lecturers as well, 2 of them, Monlamin Demba, Mr. Demba.
Okay.
He was my lecturer at the UTG. He lectured me some literature courses. And again, Fakeba Kujabi. Yes, these 2 people, these 2 gentlemen also contributed a lot in the publication of Salimata, because I had to hand it over to them to do a re-review of the book. And Prof. Gomez as well, he also interacted with the book. He was the one that referred me to Demba. He said he was very busy, but he thought the book was okay. So I had to hand it over to Mr. Demba. Mr. Demba also said it was okay. Fakeba also did some little bit of changes to it. He says some certain words were not appropriate, so he had to do a little check-up to it. And that's what made Salimata what it is. It is a very powerful book. Everybody that interacts with Salimata will tell me this book is vigorous.
No, for the fact that the book went to certain individuals, I think it worth to be a very good book. So could you tell us the venue where you launched this particular book?
I launched the book at the Law Faculty, UTG.
Okay.
Yes, that's where the launching of Salimata took place. It was launched in February, I think somewhere around 13th February 2021. But the launching was successful. I had a very strong committee. I will name them. My committee members. I will have to thank them, and I will forever be grateful to them for assisting me, making sure that launching was a big success. Esa Barry, he's no more in the Gambia. He has gone to Germany. I know he will be watching this interview. he was the MC, and he kept on telling me, anywhere you are launching your book, I will be the MC by force.
Oh.
And he was his close friend. He was the one that MC'd the program. He was the master of ceremony. I had my brothers, Mr. Penn, Babakar Penn. He's also in Italy doing his master's now. Abdullah Iba also was part of us. And my kid brother that typed it.
Okay.
He also played a big role in making sure that launching came together. Because he took from his own pocket to invest to making sure that the launching was a success. He made sure that the banners were printed. Anything I want to chicken out from, he would tell me, no, I will do it. Don't worry. My kid brother, I'm forever grateful to him for making sure that Salimata was launched. And then to Prof. Gomez also, to making sure I had the hall on gratis basis. Because that hall was supposed to be rented to me for $10,000.
Yeah.
So when I went to the utilities director, Mr. Dabo is also one kind girl and very considerate and very understanding. He told me, Raki, we cannot rent you this hall for a whole amount of we rent it out to outsiders, but you can pay us let's say 10,000 because that's minimal for a UTG student. Then I went to Prof. Gomez and I cried out to him and I told him, they're charging me 10,000 and it's expensive. Prof. Gomez told me, okay. You know what you will do? Because you are a UTG student, because then I was still in the university, I was not yet graduated. Then he told me, write a gratis letter. Write a gratis letter to Mr. Dabo. Then he will understand that you don't have the funds to pay this. You need the funds lifted for you. And that's what I did, and it was done. Mr. Dabo, I will say a big thank you to him too. And for Prof. Gomez for giving me the idea to do that, because I did not even have the idea. I was looking helter-skelter for that money. I was running up and down to gather that money to rent the hall because I already put it on my flyers, on my advertisements that's the hall, so I could not change it. So I was making sure the hall was rented, but then it became easy. I had the hall for free. That's where the thing was hosted. And again, the female committee members for Salimata launching, Aminyang, Sereng, Maria Masar, I'll forever be grateful. And my dear student, Awagay, she even is the one that is on the cover. I'll be forever grateful to her for allowing me use her image. If anybody that knows me will know Awagay. Okay. So that connection is why I put her portrait on the cover of Salimata, because being a committed student at her school-going age, because I taught her, I know she can be a good image on Salimata.
Interesting. Esteemed viewers, just to remind you once again, this is Fine TV Gambia, your only viewpoint. With me here is Madam Raki Jallow. Like I mentioned earlier on, an educationist, of course. So I am Ibrahim Bay. And then now, Madam Raki, let's venture into the forthcoming, book launching.
Yeah.
Let me say, the books that you are, planning to launch.
Yeah.
And then title, Because I Am a Woman, and of course, a bright light switched off. Interested, captions. So you plan to launch these books on the 16th of December 2023.
Yes.
Could you tell us a little bit about these two books?
It's still about women. Somebody told me this, and I was very, 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 very. It was funny to me, I would say, because he told me, "Are you a feminist?"
Interesting question.
Yes. I cannot single out myself from being a feminist because I am a female. So I am a she for she. I'll accept that, but I am not that feminist that you think I am.
Okay.
Yes, I write about women because I am a woman. That's how I call it. Because I am a woman, so I'll have to write about women. Because I know about myself more than anybody will know me. So I'll have to write about myself more than anybody will write about me. So because I am a woman, got that inspiration. Because I am a woman. So I'll have to write about women. So because I am a woman, it's a collection of women's stories.
Okay.
Yes, stories that women go through, stories that women encounter, stories that like women suffer for, I will call it. Like, because there are certain sufferings in our society that women go through. Like, they don't openly come out to talk about. They are sometimes in-house talk, like behind closed doors. They're not things that they will want people to hear. They're not things that they would like to sutura. Like, they will be saying it, but they wouldn't want many people to know about
it. Exactly.
Like, you will only confide in your confidant for them to know. Like, the rest of the people, you wouldn't want them to know. So these are dying topics that I think it's high time we talk about them. I call it breaking the culture of silence. Like we have to talk about certain things that we go through for people to know, and for solutions to be made about them. We have to talk about them. We have to speak up. If you have a problem that is eating you up or killing you, if you don't talk about it, I don't think it will be solved.
Yeah.
They say a problem discourse is halfway solved. So me putting pen to paper about these problems, I think it's trying to solve these women problems, trying to tackle them, trying to attack these perpetrators, I will call it, these evildoers that met these evil things on women, for them to see themselves in the book and know what we are doing, we should make a stop to it. What we are doing is not something that they like, even though they're keeping quiet. That's why I wrote because I am a woman. Now the other book as well is still on women. So that's why this person told me I am feminist. So it's still on women, and that is a bright light switch off. It's about early marriage.
Okay.
Yes, it's a problem about early marriage, but there is a solution to the book as well. Me, when I write, I make sure I bring a solution at the end of the book. Even in my stories, when you read into them, you see a problem, but in the end, I make sure it is solved. Like, I don't leave it open. Like, you, the reader, I need the satisfaction in you to know that this person don't only write negatively, but in fact, she writes and then look at it on the other point, yes, to see how to solve it, or to see possible means of solving them. So, A Bright Light Switch Off as well is a story about a woman that suffers due to early marriage.
Interesting books. I think we can't wait to afford, or to read this book or interact with these books.
Yeah.
Interesting books, and of course, titles that are very, fascinating. Mm-hmm. And I know, if you want to know much about this book, let's meet at the GTI hall, right?
At the USET hall.
Yeah, USET hall.
GTI is the name that people know it for.
Most, exactly.
But, the premises is now called
USET. Exactly. So, 16 December 2023. Mm-hmm. I think by 3 p.m. onwards, or?
By 4 p.m.
4 p.m. Mm-hmm. So try to be there. Before 4. Before 4.
Because by 4 sharp, it's an official thing. It's a formal gathering. By 4 sharp, we are starting. Exactly. No matter who is there and who is not.
Exactly. Interesting. So, Madam Raki, we know writing is not an easy task.
Yeah, it's not.
And of course, it is. Coupled with some obstacles. So, as a writer, what are some of the obstacles that you've encountered while putting these books or these papers into a book?
There are many there. Writing is I would call it, it's easy for me, but the publishing side, Fateba will tell me, write, publish or you perish. To write and gather them, it's easy for me. Yeah. I don't know about other people, but for me, I can write and pack them. Like how I am bringing out these two books together, it is amazing to many people. It is surprising to many people, and they're asking me how I did it and all that. To write is not easy for everybody though, but it's a talent for many. It's a talent for me, and it's a talent for many of my counterpart writers, my colleague writers. But the publishing side is where we find challenging. To publish it and to benefit, for it to benefit the society is where we have the challenge. Like the support base is in there because the reading culture is in here. It's not instilled in us.
It's lagging.
It's lagging a big deal because some people they have the interest of reading, but they cannot read big material, like to go on and read. Like a whole day, you'll be reading one material, you don't finish, you pack it tomorrow, so you pick it up. Many people don't have that patience.
Time, yeah, exactly.
So that's the problem. That's one of the biggest problems that we are faced with as writers. I know I'm speaking on behalf of all writers. Because even Hassan will tell me, don't be discouraged. Keep writing. Hassan Sise. He will tell me, no, you don't have to stop because people are not buying your books. Because my first book, Salimata, I wouldn't say it is not sold out, but I still have copies with me. I still do have copies of Salimata, the first edition I mean. The first published material. Yes. I still have them. They are not sold. Like people will not buy. The buying pace is very, very slow. So that alone is a demotivation for me. If I were someone that did not have the passion to write,
you would have stopped.
I would have stopped with Salimata. If I were looking for the money in writing, I would have stopped with Salimata because the money that I invested in publishing Salimata never came out. I never had the profit for Salimata. Nothing came out. Nothing. It was losses. 100% losses for me. But I did not relent. I said to myself, writing is a passion. It's something that is a talent for me. It's a God-given talent, and I want to explore it. I don't want to stop with this Salimata. I want to write other books. So why should I be looking at my copies under my bed and get discouraged that I will not write another? I will have to go on writing. Exactly. If they are sold, fine. If they are not sold, I will have to just be writing and be publishing. That's why I'm publishing. Fakeba used to tell me, Raki, you either publish or you get perished. So that is, if the manuscript is lying with you, you don't publish it. It has no use. Because it is not benefiting the readers. Nobody's interacting with it. So in writing, you are speaking to people. It's a direct communication. It's a direct interaction. If you buy this book today and be reading it, I'm communicating to you direct. You're reading from my knowledge. So I think we should not get discouraged with challenges. But still, I would just call on the general public, to Gambians and everybody that is watching, to just be supporting writers, not just me, but writers in general. We need the support of you buying our books, supporting when we call launchings, when we call out for book readings, when we call out for book fairs, they should come out and support. That way, us the writers will see ourselves and be proud of what we are doing and know that at least we are impacting and people are appreciative of what we are doing, of our work.
Interesting and of course powerful words, to individuals there. Madam Raki, so despite the challenges, I'm sure you have people who are standing by your side day in, day out to make sure, this day is a success.
Yeah.
So, do you have any partnership with other, organizations or, or bodies that are playing a very important role towards the success of this particular event?
For now, I haven't got any big partnership, like for someone to come out and tell me, I'll help you in this, or I will do your printouts. Everything is self-funding for me, for now. The hall is my brother that is paying for the hall. My brother that is in Germany now, my kid brother, he has paid for the hall full time. He has given me the money to pay for the hall. That's the only support basically that I have for now. That's the only support. The books I'll have to print. Except for 1 or 2 people that have promised me that they will put in their hand, but it's not yet forthcoming. So still, I'm appealing on them. If they're having second thoughts in giving me the money, please let them rethink over this and try to help me and support me to do this launching and let it be a success. I know even if they don't come forward this thing, I will have to just go on with it. Like my dad used to have this saying that he will always put to me that the dogs will bark, but the caravan must pass. Like I will be faced with challenges. It's inevitable. But this is something that I already took up as a challenge. The flyers are all over the place. The advertisement is ongoing. The books are printed. The sample copies are printed. The ISBN number is being applied for to put on the books. And I'm doing courtesy calls to meet up people that are invited as guests of honors, chief guest of honor, like chief launcher. Yeah, I think you will allow me name them.
Yeah, you may go on.
Yeah, so the chief launcher is Madam Antitida. Antitida is a director. She is the director of basic in Ministry of Education. She is this strong woman that I believe is a good representation for women. So I took her up as the chief launcher for these 2 books. And the chief guest of honor is no other than the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Mr. Sidi Njai, Honorable Sidi Njai. We have the speakers. I have speakers, honorable speakers as well, that will be speaking on the day. Guest speakers. Yes, Auntie Ramatulai Othman. She is the Vice President for the Writers Association of the Gambia. She is this strong woman as well. She's a pillar in the Writers Association that I could not let go if I were to invite somebody. I first targeted the president himself, but he's traveling, Dr. Chernobari.
Okay.
So I had to replace him with Auntie Ramatulai. She's coming. Rohi P. Fofana is a colleague writer. She's also speaking on the day. She's a guest speaker. I thought it wise to bring her up as a guest speaker because I wouldn't just be taking people that are out of my age group to be speakers. I want somebody to be within my age group also to be speakers. So that's why I chose her to be, they say, so that's why I know she's one strong lady as well, Rohi. She's a writer as me, and she's very, very, we interacted at the university, we did some courses together. So I know, and she's a colleague writer, she's doing wonders also in her own domain. So I had to bring her up to be a guest speaker. And my personal boss as well, my own boss, my unit boss, Rachel Njai Jallow, she's also speaking on the day. And Mr. Lamin Jaju, he's a brother, but again, he doubles as my teacher. Mr. Lamin Jaju of UNESCO, he's also speaking on the day. So basically, it is these 5 people that I think I've named 5.
Yeah.
Rohi, Lamin Jaju, Rachel Njai. No, Sidi Njai is the guest of honor.
Okay.
And how to call it? Rachel is also speaking on the day, and Auntie Ramatulai. So these, I think they are 4.
Interesting. So how much are this book costing?
I wouldn't forget Michael as well. I almost forget. The books are costing 300 and 500. They are all over on the flyers. The play, this one is a play, A Bright Light Switched Off, is 300, and this storybook is 500. That's how they're costing. I forgot to make mention of Michael Hamadiseka. He is going to be the review on the day. And Mr. Musaba is the MC, is the master of ceremony, the scribbler. The scribbler is also one mentor of mine that I forgot to make mention of. Yeah, The Midnight Call. He wrote that book. And the book also I read at an early age. So Scribbler is also one person that motivated me to write. And he's always encouraging me. Anytime I am done with work and I'll tell him, he'll tell me, go on with whatever you're doing. And I'm in full support of it. So he's serving as the master of ceremony on the event.
Interesting. So not to miss this event, trying to be there on time. But like she mentioned, it will be an official
and I have
gathering.
poets as well coming.
Okay.
And possibly a drama group will also be there to display their talent. A drama group from Banyol Senior Secondary School. They are planning something to come and surprise me. They told me, but I'm yet to draft them in the program of activities. But I have these guest poets as well that are coming. Mohamed Drame is coming. Mohamed Drame, the Salum. He's one Fana man, a good brother of mine that is always in support of my work. So he's performing on the day, and Mentor Boy, Ibrahim Boy. So the 2 of them are also coming to express themselves in poetry on the day.
Interesting. And I think we can't afford to miss this day. So we have to be there on time. And like she mentioned, it will be an official gathering, and by 4 p.m. They are kickstarting, the event. So Madam Raki, to, wrap up issues now. So what message do you have to tell, the viewers right now, and to any, person who believes in, writing? What message do you have for them?
Yeah, I have a message for people that are interested in writing to go on, to carry on with writing. Don't get discouraged. Don't say, writer, it's not about the feng, it's not about the dara that we are looking for. It's the passion that we have to it, and the zeal that we have in impacting knowledge, and in making sure that our voices are heard, that we are putting on paper like this for people to get interacted with these books and know what is going on. Like with books, they say you can travel the whole world while you are seated at one place.
Interesting.
Because you learn from books. Many things I know, I never travel. I tell people I've never been to Senegal, people laugh at me. Even Senegal, Dakar, I've never been. The place that I've been to is Saint Louis. And that even was a student program when I was with the Gambia College as a student leader.
Okay.
We were there as guests for a seminar at Gaston Berger University, St. Louis. That's the only place I know in Senegal. Apart from that, I have never been to Dakar itself. But there are things in Dakar that I know. I know through books. There are things in other places that I know them through books. All over the world, America, UK, anywhere. I read. I read white. In fact, my number one fan, my number one star writer is Daniel Steele, an American.
Interesting.
Yes.
From Gambia to America.
So I was even scared to say it before the Gambian writers will start telling me, why are you choosing Daniel Steele?
Yeah.
Daniel Steele is one person that, even as we live now, as we speak now, I have a book that I'm reading on Daniel Steele. I will be reading Daniel Steele, like anywhere I see Daniel Steele, I will try to borrow it. I will try to buy it.
And funnily, you've never seen the person.
I've never interacted with her. I've never seen her. Only on social media. That's where I've seen her image or in her book pictures. That's all. But that's to tell you that with writing, you travel the world while you're seated at one place.
Exactly.
So people that are writing, people that have the interest in writing, people that have started writing, they should not get discouraged because of we are not making it in writing as a career. They should not get discouraged. You just carry on with writing, do it your own way, and don't let people discourage you and tell you, hey, writing mom dohude. Like somebody told me the last time, I don't know that book. And you are writing.
No,
so it's like, I told him, I will not listen to you, because if I listen to your kind, I will not go on.
You will not.
He told me, right, Binda, you're not Binda, they can Binda book. I told him yes. He says, okay, Binda, you'll make a book here. Book, I told him, well, I am not looking for what I'm aiming from it.
You're trying to see
I'm just trying to impact. So, impacted, I think this is my way of contributing to national development.
Interesting. So, esteemed viewers and followers, that was all we have for you today. And of course, this is Madam Raki Jallow. Like I mentioned earlier on, he's an educationist, and then of course he wrote, a book, and now, trying to, launch 2 books together. So that shows how industrious he is, and of course we have to upload her for that. So just not to miss this event, it is happening 16 December 2023 at the USET Hall. USET is now, GDTI has been transformed into USET. So at the main hall in Kanifing, I think,
Yes.
So that's where this event.
I have a final message.
Exactly. So okay, she has a final message before we wrap this program.
Yes, I will have to say thank you to people that are supporting me on the ground. I know some of them wouldn't want their names to be mentioned, but somebody by the name Mohammed Tikani, Dr. Tikani, I think he's well known. He's well known on the social media. I think he's a renowned Gambian. He's a doctor based in the US. She pledged to buy 10 books, 5 of each copy. I forgot to make mention if she pledged. He told me that he will buy 10 copies when the books are out. Like, let me note it down. Fine TV as well did their own quota. They did their support of buying copies as well. So that I am proud of. And there is this guy, Mr. Usman Jah. I just know him from social media. He also sent me $1,000 as his way of supporting my event. So far, these are the supports that I needed to make mention of. And again, the biggest supporter, my biggest fan, I forgot to make mention of her. My mother. If I don't mention her, I will not be grateful. My mother has been there for me since day one, and still now she's still carrying my children for me. So with all this that I am doing, people will ask me, how do you do this? I have 3 kids that I am supposed to look after. But anywhere I am so relaxed. I am so okay. I am not in a hurry. Yeah. I'm not in a haste, because I know my mom is there watching over my kids. So I will say a big thank you to her. I will say jarama to her, that may she live longer and longer and longer in good health. So that at least all the support that she's giving to all her children, it's not only me. If somebody else talks, you will think she is of more support to them than me, because she has many children, mashallah. But any of her children have to talk about my mother, they will say the same thing or more than I am saying. She is the manager of the whole family. She manages everybody's life, most especially mine. Because me, I know the busy schedule that I have. I know if I did not have her, I would have suffered. So I would say a big thank you to her and every family member of mine that are in one way or the other in support of my journey as a writer and as an educationist in general.
So like this will remind me from your statement that you mentioned like indeed I mean at times if where you are as a writer, if you don't travel you reach there,
Yeah.
and then this comes to an end when you said there is some Usman Jah, something like that,
Yes.
who you've never
I've
seen.
never seen.
So I mean play to
I've never seen. He's only my Facebook friend. Usman Jah is my Facebook friend. Only on Facebook. We only interact. There isn't anything personal going on. We only interact and he likes my work. That's all. And then all of a sudden, out of the blues, he sent me a text. We even never exchanged numbers. Imagine, until my book launch. And I've known him since. It's only Facebook that we interact. Then he told me, send me your contact detail and your full name, like how you spell it correctly. Then I send him. Then he says, I'm sending you something in support of your book launch. And that, if everybody was doing that, I wouldn't even be thinking of renting a hall for 5,000. Now, but fortunately, my brother has put that bill for me. So I'm no longer worried for you said. I know that one is secured. That one is done. So I'm left with the printing of books. That is the headache that I carry now. So, but inshallah, I think it will be done in one way or the other.
Interesting. And we wish you good luck
thank
in
you,
your forthcoming album.
And thank you to Fine TV for always having my back. This is home. So that's why I even needed not to thank Fine TV.
Exactly.
Because this is home. Like people will say, the interviewer is now being interviewed.
Yes. So I think in fact this
today I'm the interviewee.
Is an inspiration for me.
Yeah.
Esteemed viewers and followers, just to wrap up issues, since we are running against time, I was your host Ibrahim Mbaye, and our guest today was Raki Jallow, and of course who is coming to launch her 2 books. So be there, please, on time. Bye bye, and have a pleasant day.
Thank you.